So my first question as a for the topic is that in last 50 years we have seen India's foreign policy evolving. What has changed in last 10 years, especially under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi?
Many things have changed. One, when we look at the world, we look at the world with a degree of confidence. Now you will say, what is new? It is new. Because in the past, we sometimes looked at the world with a degree of nervousness, with a degree of let us keep them far away. I don't know what would be their impact in our country. We built in a way mental walls between us and the world. So I think the attitude towards the world itself is the first fundamental change. The second, which is relevant in a way to our topic, we believe that the opportunities are more than the challenges. Net, the world is a positive place. The world today, can be engaged, it can be utilized, it can be leveraged, actually to make the progress of India grow faster. Third, the world actually can also benefit, when I say opportunities, one very obvious opportunity is a global workplace. That the talents of India today have an opportunity to go beyond India. The contribution of India has a possibility of going beyond our borders as well. So, when I look at the world as a landscape, I'm more positive. When I look at the world as a partner, I'm more optimistic. When I look really in terms of the resources of the world, technology, practices, I think there is a lot that can be offered. But along with that comes responsibility. So we are today the 5th largest economy. In a few years, we will be the 3rd. We cannot behave and act the way we were when we were the 10th largest economy. So as you become a bigger player, I think there is also, you can say we are a bigger shareholder in the world. And it's important to contribute more, to step up when there are problems like during COVID, or if tomorrow there's a natural disaster at that time. So when there is a conflict, so I would say more expectations, more confidence, more contribution, more responsibilities.
Yeah. So along with these, also there must be a lot of challenges.
Yes.
So can you elaborate on challenges?
Let me give you some of the obvious challenges, though I think people, when a challenge is behind you, we all forget it very quickly. Let's look at the last 5 years. Okay. What is the biggest event in our lives in the last 5 years? It was the COVID pandemic. Okay. We could have looked at COVID. In fact, I share with people, when COVID first started, there was a virtual meeting of the top 20 economies of the world, G20. And the meeting was to decide, was to say, look, we have this unprecedented situation. How can we address it together? And there was a briefing done of all the 20 leaders. Prime Minister Modi obviously was there for India. I was sitting behind him and listening. And at that time, I'm now talking of January of 2020. In January of 2020, it was the opinion of the key institutions, the World Bank, the IMF, that the country which would face the biggest problem in the COVID, the country about which the world was most worried, was India. And there was a reason why they were saying this. Their thinking was, India health system is poor, public health is very patchy, the infrastructure is not there, the the defenses against vaccines were not there. Now, if you look in the course of the next 2 years, actually we not only dealt with the COVID, we responded to the COVID by ramping up our health infrastructure, and I'm happy to say that continues even today.
Yeah.
And then we ended up actually as a crucial supplier of vaccines to the entire world. So I give you that as an example where, and when we gave vaccines to almost 100 countries. Even today, it is now 3 years, 2.5 years since COVID is over. There are many countries in the world, when you go there and meet people, ordinary people, people in the airport, in the shops, in the hotels, they remember, for them, India is a country which helped them during COVID. So, to me, it's a very powerful example of what it is really, how you take a challenge and actually make it into a, you could say, a achievement, a contribution. A second kind of challenge would be today natural disasters. That you will see, we just had an earthquake in Myanmar. Okay? We were the first or one of the first countries. We went in, our disaster rescue force was there in the same day. The earthquake happened late in the morning. By evening, we were there. Now, it doesn't happen by itself. It happens because you plan for, you create a force. You plan for how to respond. So, and it's not a one-off. If you look in the last 10 years, you had earthquake in Nepal, you had earthquake in Turkey, you had cyclone in Myanmar, you had a mudslide in Sri Lanka, you had floods in Mozambique. So wherever anything happens we had in Mauritius, a very big typhoon. So this is a very good example today. Our bigger capabilities allow for us taking more responsibility. That is another kind of change. Sometimes the change can be in our own borders, or in our own periphery. A country like Sri Lanka, a neighbor like Sri Lanka, for various reasons, their economy totally collapsed. Okay. Now, to see a country which is a middle income country actually not having the ability to pay for petrol, to pay for food, the kind of agitation on the street, the government fell, but the country was collapsing. And we stepped forward. Today, any Indian who goes to Sri Lanka, here's only praise for India. We are seen as a good neighbor. We are seen as a country which stepped forward to help them. I can give you more such examples. But look, again, when you say 10 years, at the end of the day, in any society, it can be a country, it can be a university. Leadership is key. A country grows when there is a leadership, when there is a system, when there is teamwork, when there is motivation. Same thing I can say for a university or for any other institution.